fantasy short stories. How the Dragons Lost the World by John E. DeLaughter.
Listen to me, O best beloved, and I will tell you of the days long, long ago when dragons ruled the world, and how we came to lose our way. For you are the child of dragons, and will be the parent of dragons, and you should know how we once held dominion over all, and how a clever ape brought us to ruin. Now in those days of long, long ago, the world was divided into 3 realms. There was the realm of the seas, ruled by the mighty sea dragon Eotha. She was fair of face, yet swift and terrible in her fury. There was the realm of the lands, ruled by the immense land dragon Eadrut. He was as long as the world, and when he stomped his foot, the ground split in fear. But the most important of all the realms was the air, ruled by the terrible, outrageous, and lawless Aruz. His wings could blot out the sky. His scream could rouse the seas. His feet could shatter mountains, and his very breath was a furnace. All beings in all 3 realms, sea, land, and sky, obeyed Aruz, lest they raise his fearsome wrath. For ages untold, the world lived and prospered under the harsh but fair rule of the dragons. Eotha and her brood devoured the people of the sea, yet Eotha also protected them from those that would destroy them. Eadrut and his children consumed the people of the land, yet Eadrut also provided them with food and shelter from the elements. And Aruz and his children watched over all, eating naught but fire, and keeping the balance between earth, land, and sea, so that the world might live harmoniously. But what none of them knew, not mighty Eotha, not immense Eadrut, not prodigious Aruz, was that on the lands lived a band of apes that desired to end the domain of the dragons. These apes were vicious, these apes were cruel, but worst of all, these apes were clever. One day, the cleverest of these apes, who had named himself Beanie for the glint in his eyes, came up to Eadrut, where the dragon lay amidst a grove of towering green trees. The ape bowed in submission, as all beasts on the land must when they meet their ruler. But as Beanie bowed, he also chuckled, as if at a mighty jest. Beanie's laughter grew louder and louder until the beast fairly rolled on the ground in mirth. "How dare you laugh in my presence?" roared Eadrut, infuriated by Beanie's impudence, for none had ever laughed at him before. Dozens of trees were felled as Eadrut lashed his tail in anger, and small creatures fled in terror. But the ape moved not. "I beg your pardon, O mighty Eadrut," the clever ape begged, chuckling all the while. It is just that Eotha told me that there was one thing you could not do, and looking upon you, I suddenly realized she was right." "What?" demanded Eodrut, nigh well insensible in his wrath. Stretching himself to his fullest, he sneered, "Something that I cannot do? Do you not know that I am mightiest of all land dragons? Do you not know that I am as long as the world, and that the ground itself splits in fear when I stomp my foot?" "Yes, I know all of that," Beanie said, still smirking at the dragon behind his palm. "Nevertheless, there is one thing that you cannot do." "Name it, and I shall do it," Eodrut roared, splitting the ground as he stomped in fury. "Why, it is as simple, Beanie replied. "You cannot leap over the moon, for you are too large, and she is too far away." "We will see about that," Eodrut said. Now, the king of the land dragons knew that Beanie was right. He couldn't leap over the moon, but he also knew that to let Beanie have the last laugh would be unheard of. So Eodrut gathered himself and leapt into the sky as high as he could. Over the tops of mountains, over the tops of stars, even up to the very nose of the moon he leapt. And as he came down, he saw as Beanie gathered the other apes and ran to a corner of the world far away. Before he could discover why the apes had moved, Eodrut met the ground with a crash so mighty that it split the land into 7 pieces and flung them all across the globe, splitting the beasts from one another and killing Eodrut and all his children. And the clever ape smiled. "That's one," he said to himself. The next day, Beanie went swimming in the salty ocean, where he met swift and beautiful Eotha, lolling in a maze of kelp. As before, the clever ape bowed to the ruler of the seas. As before, Beanie chuckled as he did so, and as happened before with Eodrut, the mighty Eotha was infuriated by Beanie's impudence. "How dare you laugh in my presence?" Eotha roared, thrashing the sea into huge waves. "My brother lies dead, and you laugh." "My apologies, O mighty sea queen," Beanie said, chuckling all the while and edging ever so slowly toward the shore. "I but remember a jest that Eodrut told me." "A jest that my brother told you? What is it?" Eotha demanded, as she, all unwitting, followed the clever ape from the vastness of her realm into the shallow waters. "What is drier than death and wetter than woe?" Beanie asked as he stepped on shore. Eotha frowned in thought, but try as she might, she could not discover the meaning of the riddle. "What?" Pointing at the sea dragon, Beanie chortled, "Why, you, of course." Beanie shouted in laughter as he ran along the sandy beach and into the dense verdant jungle, where he grabbed a bunch of coconuts. Eotha shouted in fury and called her children to her side. Together they chased Beanie through the green jungles where the coconuts grew and the monkeys chittered. They chased Beanie across wild plains where the grass grew as high as a dragon and the woolly beasts roamed. They chased Beanie over the ice where the snow ran red and the white bears hunted. For a day and a night and a day and a night, the clever ape ran, and Eotha and her children chased him, never slacking, never failing in their fury, until finally Beanie stopped amidst a sea of dunes and smiled at his pursuers. "Welcome to the desert," the clever ape said, cracking open a coconut and sipping from the milk inside. "Here there is no water but that which you bring with you. Here there is no food but that which you find. Here you will stay to the end of your days." Eotha stared about her. The ape's words were true, and for the first time in her life, she was afraid. Here there was no water to lift her, no food to sustain her or her children. She lunged for Beanie, hoping to gain his coconuts and feed her children, but the ape skipped nimbly back, laughing all the while. This sea was indeed drier than death, and bitter salt tears flowed from her eyes, wetter than woe. With a mighty wail, she watched as her children died one by one, while Beanie calmly ate coconuts one by one. In agony and despair, she gasped out, "Why did you do this?" But Beanie smiled and refused to answer as Eotha died. "That's two," he said to himself. The next day, Beanie took a walking stick and climbed the highest mountain he could find. Above the trees he climbed, into the ice and snow he climbed, up and up he climbed, until every breath was a gasp, and the cold froze his bones. He climbed until there was no more mountain to climb, and there he stood, leaning on his walking stick. From atop the mountain, Beanie called out for Aruz, the ruler of the air, to attend him. Angry at being summoned like a child, furious at the deaths of his brother and sister, inflamed at the damage done to the world by Beanie, Aruz lit on the snowy mountain top and glared at the clever ape. "What do you want, murderer?" Aruz raged. "You have already killed my sister Eotha and my brother Eadrut. Will you try to kill me next?" "I won't try," Beanie said, edging closer to Aruz as he spoke. "I will succeed, for I know that you are too smart to fall for the simple tricks that I played on your brother and sister." "Then how will you kill me?" Aruz laughed. "For my wings can blot out the skies. My scream can rouse the seas. My feet can shatter mountains, and my very breath is a furnace. What will you use to defeat these, O clever ape? Shaking his walking stick at our ruse, Beanie said, "This." "Never!" Aruz shouted. In his anger, the king of all dragons shot flame after flame at the cavorting clever ape. But the clever ape merely wrapped the flames around the walking stick and pulled until he had stolen all of Aruz's fire. "Give me back my fire," Aruz cried in anguish, bitterly realizing that Beanie had beaten him. But Beanie just ran down the mountain with the fire he had stolen, knowing that Aruz and his children would soon die, as they could not live without fire. "That's 3, he said to himself, "and now the world is mine." But the clever ape was wrong, for Aruz had been even more clever than the ape, and had hidden a part of his fire in the breasts of his children. So, though Beanie killed Aruz and took over dominion of all the lands and all the seas and all the air, Beanie could not kill all of Aruz's children, nor steal all of Aruz's fire from the world. And so we lived, despite Beanie's best efforts. And while we live, we hope, for we know that one day Beanie and his children will tire of playing with Aruz's fire. Beanie and his children will grow careless and inattentive. When they do, the clever ape will cease to be clever. Then Beanie and his children will cease to be, for they will set fire to the world. And on that day, we dragons will rule once more.
John E. DeLaughter is a retired planetologist living on a sailboat with Samantha the Eagle. His work has taken him to all 7 continents, where he has always met the nicest people, but no dragons. Yet. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. Real quick, John DeLaughter is a returning author, so if you enjoyed this, check out his other stories that I'll link in the description below. As for this one, as soon as I started reading it, I knew I was going to accept it because, from a voice actor's perspective, it was quite the challenge. I had no idea how to narrate a dragon telling a story. So, my voice is a little raw at the moment, but hopefully it was worth it. Let me know what you guys thought of this delivery. It's definitely an experiment, and I would love some feedback. You won't hurt my feelings, I promise. Anyway, if you enjoyed this story, be sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment if you're on YouTube. Or if you're listening to the podcast version, just be sure to subscribe for more brand new short stories. I'm Chris Herron, and that's it for today's Tall Tale TV.